From Reykjavik, Iceland,
welcome to the GCN Show.
From Lake Moultrie, South Carolina, welcome to the GCN Show.
From Midwest Giro, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
This week we are taking a look back at the Giro d'Italia, one of the most exciting and closely fought Grand Tours in living memory, even in Matt's living memory. And we try to analyse just how Tom Dumoulin won it.
Yeah, in Tech of the Week this week, we uncover a new type of bike, aero touring. Plus, we've got all of our usuals as well.
It's good to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I can tell it's been a hard month, given how many haircuts are needed. I think you're all right, but me and Dan both need a trip.
Look at that.
I'm growing mine back.
Fluff-tastic.
Yeah, it's nice you brought an extra microphone with you.
What can you say about the 100th edition of the Giro d'Italia? It truly was an amazing race. In fact, one of the best all time, I would hasten to add. Although we'd probably need a little bit longer in the pub, wouldn't we, to actually nail down our top 5 ever Grand Tours.
A little bit more, I think,
Any
definitely.
excuse.
But it wasn't until the final week that things really started to move into top gear, when Dumoulin's rather healthy advantage went completely out the window, let's face it, because of a quite poorly timed poo. I mean, it was, wasn't it?
It was terribly timed. Now, fortunately, we were spared too many days of hypothetical questions about whether or not you would or would not take a dump in your shorts in order to win a Grand Tour, because fortunately Dumoulin did end up prevailing. He managed to claw back enough seconds in the final time trial to overhaul Pinot, Nibali and Quintana to reclaim the Maglia Rosa. And in fact, in doing that, he's the only rider in the history of cycling to go from 4th to 1st on the final day of a Grand Tour.
That's all well and good, Si, but did you actually decide in that situation whether you would have just gone in your shorts in order to win your first Grand Tour?
To be fair, I couldn't decide. Ultimately, Dumoulin's got age on his side. You know, he could probably guarantee that he's going to win another Grand Tour. But there is a precedent for pooing in shorts. Just ask Greg LeMond.
There's been a lot of conjecture over the last few days. Should his rivals have waited when he jumped into the bushes and ended up with his shorts around his ankles? I mean...
Yeah, well, no, I think. Actually, Tom Dumoulin himself said so on Twitter that night that no, they should not have waited. And frankly, actually being able to resist the call of nature is probably a pretty important attribute to win a Grand Tour, hasn't it? And there are side effects to necking too many energy gels and too many energy drinks. We, in fact, have warned about such accidents in a video.
Even if you haven't experienced it directly yourself, you'll probably know someone that's had a severe stomach upset because of gel abuse.
But given that awful situation he found himself in, what are the actual secrets of Dumoulin's success?
Well, I think we should start with his obvious strength, which is time trialling. There were 69 kilometres of individual time trialling at the event this year, and if we look at the time gaps between him and his closest rivals, he put 4 minutes and 17 seconds into Nairo Quintana, 3 minutes a second into Vincenzo Nibali, and 4 minutes and 8 seconds into Thibaut Pinot. So he basically annihilated them over those 2 stages and then kind of held on the climbs.
Held on. Seems a little bit harsh, mate. He did win to Europa, put 14 seconds into Quintana, and then he only lost 24 seconds up to Blockhouse, to Quintana. Admittedly, a little bit more up to Piccavello, over a minute there, and then only 15 seconds on the last penultimate stage, rather, to Asiago. So if you take all those into consideration, leaving aside Pouget stage just for one moment, which admittedly was the Queen stage, and therefore he may well have lost a little bit more time. But it's only 1 minute and 34 that he conceded on the climbs. And actually going back to Stelvio, he was the 5th fastest man up on that day, and he did basically the whole thing on his target, didn't he? He basically just rode a time trial, which is pretty clever if you ask me, if you're one of the world's best time trialists.
So, did he win because Quintana wasn't quite at his best, not at 100%? I don't think we should spend too long speculating about that now. It's a very difficult one to answer. But it does give us the opportunity to talk a little bit about Quintana. Of course, he was going for the Giro Tour double this year. That's not going to happen. But according to the cycling statistician Killian Kelly, he's only the 3rd person in history to be on the podium of 3 consecutive Grand Tours, the others being Bernardino and Eddie Merckx, which makes you wonder, given how much he's already done back-to-back, whether the Giro Tour double this year was a bit ambitious.
Well, maybe so, or just perhaps Quintana's 2nd Grand Tour of the year is his best.
Yeah, first one's like a leg opener.
Yeah, I mean, we'll always have to wait till the Tour de France, where we will, of course, have an opportunity to make our infamous predictions as well.
Well, yeah, speaking of which, this might be the real reason why Dumoulin actually won and Quintana finished second.
Pino first, Vincenzo Nibali, the defending champion, Steven Kruijswijk.
Quintana for the win, Mikel Landa, Vincenzo Nibali for third.
Mikel Landa, Tom Dumoulin, and the winner will be Nairo Quintana. Right, well, I am taking that as a personal victory, the only person out of us three to predict Dumoulin in the top 3 at all.
Yeah, not a bad showing all round. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
And one of the others you got was 4th.
Yeah.
Not too
Well,
bad.
I'm still claiming a win. You can have second. Yeah, but you were last out of us 3.
I'm still on the podium though, still got third.
I'm like Nairo Quintana, I'm going to improve towards the Tour de France.
Same here.
We have some results for you now. It's competition time and we drew the winners of the pretty amazing physique competition with 3 lots of prizes up for grabs. We'll start with third place. The winner of the Physique R1B shoes and bar tape is Daniel Rees. Congratulations, Daniel. A solid third place for you, the Vincenzo Nibali of our competition.
In second place, winning shoes, saddle and bar tape, Christoph Zeal. Well done to you.
Congratulations, Nairo Quintana for this week.
Yeah. And finally, the winner of the R1B Climbers Edition shoe, the saddle and the bar tape is Ron Sloan. Very well done to you. We'll be in touch and get those prizes to you ASAP.
You are going to love those shoes.
They are nice.
They are so cool.
Really shiny.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Let's start cycling shorts this week with great news for anybody that rides in California. Now, the Californian Department of Transport has announced a statewide integrated plan for cycling and pedestrians to basically double walking and triple cycling by 2020, whilst at the same time reduce fatalities by 10% year on year. Now, some of the riding in California is absolutely fantastic, but navigating urban areas can at times be a bit tricky, so this should definitely help.
Yeah, that's a really good news story.
There's been some news out of Aigle, which is the home of the UCI this week. They've announced the inaugural Urban Cycling World Championships. Stick with it.
Sorry.
The Urban Cycling World Championships will consist of 3 disciplines. Now, rainbow jerseys up for grabs in each one. So there's a mountain bike cross-country eliminator race. There is a trials event, and there's also a BMX freestyle event as well. It's going to take place for the first time this coming November in Chengdu in China.
Yeah, all right. Race news of a different kind this time. Very different kind, in fact. And the Transamerica race, the TransAm, is starting next week. It's actually the 4th edition of this race across America. But that it is, importantly, it's very different from the race across America, just for clarification.
Yeah, very different indeed, because this event is completely unsupported. So you've got no support vehicles, there's no outside assistance allowed, no drafting, no nothing really, it's just you against the elements. Incredibly, the record for this event was set by the late Mike Hall, and it's just 17.5 days.
Whoa, it's like 4,200 Ks to get across there.
Well, thinking of Mike, the 5th edition of the European Transcontinental Race will take place on July the 28th, despite the tragic death of Hall earlier this year, of course one of the race's founders.
Now, any of you who've been into the sport of cycling and will have a vague knowledge of it will be aware that the sport has had a deep problem with doping in years gone by, and actually perhaps even now, because 2 riders from Bardiani were kicked off the Giro d'Italia before it even started. And it's been incredibly sad and frustrating from the inside of the sport, hasn't it? However, on the outside it appears that it is ripe for comedy, because HBO have just released a trailer for their upcoming Tour de Pharmacy, which coincidentally comes out this July. And it mocks and ridicules cycling's history.
Nearly every rider was on drugs.
Everyone was cheating, except for me.
How do you beat a man on drugs if you're not on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?
Here we go!
Rightly so, would you say?
Well, personally thinking, I think rightly so. And I must admit, I watched the trailer and did have quite a hearty chuckle at a cameo by a certain Lance Armstrong. You need to check it out.
Wait a second. I think I'm a lot more recognizable with the helmet on. This is not good.
The diversification of road bikes continues apace in Tech of the Week this week. We have a new epicenduralgroad bike to show you, and also aero touring.
Whoa.
Yeah, which before you all scoff disdainfully at, you need to see because it's frankly pretty amazing actually.
You have to wait a few moments though, because firstly we're going to go through all road bikes. Because Cannondale last week, rather stealthily on their Facebook page, released a brand new bike called the Supercross Force SE. Although basically it's their fairly standard cyclocross bike with a few added components which are more down the adventure and road line. Right. And Trek have already done this in the past with their aluminium cyclocross bike, the Crockett, as have Orbea with their Terra. And I guess it makes complete sense really, because cyclocross frame sets are the kings of all purpose, but a complete cyclocross build is rather niche. So it makes sense for them to offer those frame sets to the public with a slightly different componentry specification.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, especially if you know exactly what you want from a road bike. But if you're new to the sport, it can be a bit of a nightmare. Just what sort of bike do you want? A road bike, a climbing bike, an aero bike, an endurance bike, a gravel bike, an adventure bike, a cyclocross bike, a time trial bike, a triathlon bike, a touring bike?
Or an aero touring bike. Oh yes, we saw this little beauty on Instagram the other day. Rob English of English Cycles makes some of the most jaw-droppingly beautiful custom bikes ever. In fact, we were lucky enough to see one of his time trial bikes in the Raw at Bespoke Show, and in fact meet the man himself. But this one, this latest creation, definitely deserves a mention in the show as well. He's actually built it for himself to tackle the aforementioned TransAm race next week. And in his own words, he wanted, and I quote, "The end goal is efficient speed. So aerodynamics is important, but it also needs to be comfortable for very long days in the saddle, plus be able to carry a minimal amount of gear."
Wow. Well, the results, the results, as you can all see, are really quite stunning. But as ever with English Cycles, the beauty is far more than just skin deep, because the eye for attention on this bike really is quite incredible. Aero Parley disc road covers, check.
Nice.
Custom aerodynamic saddlebag, check that as well.
Nice.
Lightweight, you can also check that. It's just £22 in total with all of those accessories on board.
That's nuts.
It is nice, isn't it?
It's that time of the week again. It is hack / bodge of the week. Already one bodge on the show. First up is a recycled high jump stand hacked into a Sprint workstation. This came in from Stephen Browning, and he said, "Could you please point out to Si that I am also using a chain keeper?"
Oh, matching colours, blue. It's oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
Good that.
I mean that is a really nice workstation, and you know,
his homemade stand,
his
great.
chain looks well kept.
Chain keeper, even better.
I was rubbish at the high jump.
Okay, well, moving swiftly on from hacked workstands and chain keepers to this one, which I love, sent in by John Madrid. It is a homemade chain whip, but look at that, repurposing a crank arm.
That's
actually
good,
a thing.
isn't it?
It's actually quite arty, isn't it?
It is,
It's a
yeah.
thing
I
of
think that's
beauty.
brilliant. That is a definite hack. That one.
Good.
Nice
It's a good
work,
one.
John.
It's a good photography as well.
Yeah.
Next up we have this from Mackenzie Cockram. As you can tell by my facial expression, this is the first time I've seen this photograph. There appears to be, from what I can see, a pair of handlebars with the stem facing backwards. So it's a slammed, inverse, reversed pair of bars.
Do you think it's for somebody with a very short torso, or for an Aubrey tuck
looking
kind of
at the
position?
way they've also slammed the saddle, it's probably for somebody of short stature, but interesting / dangerous.
Well, quite frankly, yeah, it's for someone that doesn't go around corners. Because there's not going to be much steering there, is there?
So how's that going to work?
Well, it's
is
not,
it the wrong way round?
Yeah, genius, absolutely genius.
Right, the next one comes in from Edmund Solomon. This came into his bike shop where he works, where someone's managed to weld disc brake mounts onto his old 27-inch tyre bike. Have a look at this.
Wow.
We've seen one of these welded on aftermarket disc brake things before, haven't we? And it looks equally as dangerous.
That doesn't look. It looks nice, but surely you should have reinforced the fork.
Well, yeah, exactly. Forks are not designed to have that much pressure there.
Going through that 1 centimetre point.
Yeah, but apparently he did a 400k ride on it, so you know, it hasn't broken yet.
I just hope that there's no downhill sections.
Yeah, which is good news. Right then, moving on, we've got this one, which was spotted close to our GCN HQ. Man, there's a lot going on there. I think
it's no DeLorean, is it?
No, it's not.
Busy looking bike.
It's probably got quite a bit of power to it, though.
Is that a lawnmower engine on the top tube?
I wonder whether it's the kind of thing that you buy off eBay.
And a Victorian saddle.
That is admittedly highly illegal. But yeah, he's got a petrol engine strapped to his bike.
It looks remarkably aerodynamic though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, thanks Adrian Stuttart for sending that one in. Genius.
And then we have this over on Instagram from Ramul Amir. it looks like
That's
it's
amazing.
They've
That
basically
is very
adapted the
cool.
back of their car.
Out of styrofoam.
Yeah,
or
so
something.
basically sculpted the styrofoam out in the shape of the bike, and the bike's going to be in place. I mean, that is
There's a
quite
place for the
remarkable.
wheel, place for his bag,
And
place
it's
for his
got-
glass, everything. I presume that's
I've
space
never
for a
seen-
pump underneath.
But
as
there's
well,
no
is it?
space for people, so presumably he goes to races and events
No,
on his
two,
own.
two at the front.
Yeah.
That's something else.
That is very cool.
That is
Look
going
at
to
the
keep
track
things
pump
neat
in
and
the
tight,
back
isn't
there
it?
as well.
Jeez.
Next up, from Otto Lithe, he spotted this saddle. It's springy, but probably not particularly comfortable.
That's happened on my town bike.
You wouldn't
actually.
sit on that saddle without a pair of shorts on, would you?
No, I've got a
Game
removable
over.
leather cover on it now, and yeah, you always check, make sure it's still attached. Then this one, that is a good bodge actually. Look at that, a fixed cleat. Oh yeah, if your cleat breaks, that's how you fix it. What's it made out of actually?
It's like a little piece of flattened steel, isn't it?
I don't know where you found that.
Yeah, if you can find that, we can find just a
just another Shimano cleat.
Filed it off, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I like that though. That's a good hack. Yeah, or a bodge.
Well, whether it's a hack or a bodge, keep sending them on in to us on social media using the hashtag GCNHack, and we'll pick out our favourites of both the hack and the bodge subjects this time next week.
Love them, absolutely love them. Now, we've spoken about Tom Dumoulin already, but there were some other standout performances in the last week of the Giro. Take Vincenzo Nibali's victory on the Queen stage, finishing in Bormio. He was classy, he was entertaining, atypically in fact for himself. Now, he couldn't drop Nairo Quintana on the climb of the Stelvio, but he did so on the descent, then caught Mikel Landa and promptly out-sprinted him at the finish to take the only Italian glory, or stage win, of the race.
I particularly like when he bunny hopped over the standing water
Oh,
in the road
yeah.
and get his tyres wet. Yeah, that was very impressive. It was great to see TJ Van Garderen of BMC take a stage win after what's been a very tough couple of years for him. And likewise, Cannondale take a victory after 2 years without a Grand Tour stage win in the form of Pierre Rolland. Understandably emotional amongst the team after the race, as you will see in Tweeted a week later on. Mikel Landa thoroughly deserved his stage after coming close on 2 previous occasions. And also, it was great to see Jos van Emden finally take a time trial win in the Grand Tour. He's been knocking on the door for years, finally got it on Sunday, and effectively turned Milan kind of a Dutch shade of orange, didn't he, with Tom Dumoulin taking the victory overall as well.
That's right. But May isn't just about the Giro, is it? There's been loads of other really good racing on, including the Tour of Belgium, which was won by Jens Kuklet. He's actually riding for the Belgian national team as opposed to his usual Orica Scott outfit there. Second place was a particularly impressive performance from 21-year-old quick-step rider Remy Cavagna from France. And then Tony Martin of Katusha Alpecin was third. And then, very interestingly, Wout van Aert, world cyclocross champion, finished 10th overall on GC in what was a pretty special week for the cyclocross hitters, as we're going to see in just one moment. Before we leave racing news, we've got to talk about the Hammer Series race, the first ever Hammer Series race, which is coming up not just this weekend, but on Friday, in fact. It's a new 3-day multidiscipline event format launched by Velon, and it's attracted some of the best riders in the world, including probably an on-form, you might say, Tom Dumoulin.
Yeah, should be a cracking race. And we've got some very exciting news of our own, in fact, because you'll be able to watch all 3 days of the race live and for free right here on GCN, with us commentating on the race, which we are extremely excited about. So make sure you join us.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
It's time now for Caption of the Week. Now, last week's picture was this. Me and Simon stood on a sunny roof in Alta Badia with Simon with a rather extreme and pained looking expression on his face.
I was maxed out, Matt.
You were. I can testify to that. But the winner is, we've chosen quite a few here, and the best one is from Round Brush. Steve, Caption, GCN's The Sound of Music 2 auditions are going terribly. Very good.
Yeah, well done. If you write into us on Facebook with your address, we will get you a GCN Camelback water bottle in the post as soon as possible.
I wonder if he gets a choice of 4 that we've now got on offer.
Possibly, yeah. Choose which one you want.
Absolutely. All right then, this week we've got a very topical photo. We couldn't not put it in, could we really? Before you take it away and let loose, if you excuse the pun, in the comment section down below, then we'll get you started. Lloydie, you going for it, mate?
Okay. I wouldn't push me there if I was you. It's not very good, is it?
It's just,
no, there's definitely better ones out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, get stuck in the comment section down below. The winner selected next week will get a GCN Camelback water bottle sent out to them.
It's time for GCN's Wattage Bazooka! Yeah. I just thought I'd just take it up a little. Yeah, it has been a long month. We've had a number of calls this week, understandably, to have a different sort of wattage bazooka this week.
Yeah, a squattage bazooka, if you will.
Or a wattage pooper. Something.
Yeah, I think
there was some power going on, there's no doubt about that.
But given the type of channel that we are, we've resisted that temptation to go down that route. Oh, fell off the step. And this week's wattage bazooka, pro wattage bazooka, goes to Mathieu van der Poel.
That's right. This man could perhaps be the hottest ticket in cycling right now. To cyclocross fans, it'll be no surprise. He was world champion at the tender age of 20. Yeah, that's right, 20 years old. But then this week, he outsprinted none other than Philippe Gilbert to win a stage of the Tour of Belgium on the Thursday, before then lining up on the Sunday on a mountain bike and finishing an incredible second place to Olympic and multi-time world champion Nino Schurter in the World Mountain Bike Cup. Frankly, that's just unbelievable. And in fact, this man could very well end up rivaling Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and her mind-blowing cyclocross, road and mountain bike world championship triple.
I love the fact that in the evening after he won his stage at the Tour of Belgium, he tweeted saying, "Thanks for having me, Tour of Belgium, but I'm off now to prepare for the Mountain Bike World Cup on Sunday." Incredible confidence. Which
and polite as well, which is good.
Yeah, which performance are we giving the Wattage Bazooka for, exactly?
Is it both?
That's a good point.
It's like a combination, it's like a long ranger again, isn't it, really?
Oh,
yeah,
give it for both.
Yeah.
The viewer Wattage Bazooka this week goes to George Spooner.
Whoa, Spooner!
Yeah, after many attempts, he has finally got the KOM up Swains Lane in London. 185,000 attempts up that particular segment. It's incredibly popular. 1 minute and 55 seconds is what it took him at an average of 541 watts, which is apparently 9 watts per kilo.
Wow.
So very well done to you. If you've got any nominations either for yourself or indeed for friends, use the hashtag Wattage Bazooka on social media and we'll pick our favourite next week.
Yeah. Have you been up there yet on your e-bike?
I might give it a go actually.
I
I think we'll have a third section at e-bike bazooka as well.
Well, just you have to tell anyone.
I suppose I don't.
Just give it a nudge. Dom has chosen quite a few tweets for us this week. They are all tweets.
No Instagrams.
And yeah, they're good. So let's crack on without further ado. This is actually from Candel Drapac at Ride Argyle. The moment when Pierre Roland saw Charlie Wigalis, who's their director sportif, at the team hotel. It looks like there's a lot of emotion going on there on both sides as well.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool photo.
Amazing, yeah, really good. Yeah, it was very good to see actually.
In a case of Team Quickstep Floors has pointed out a fact, not a single raindrop during this year's Giro d'Italia. And I can say that that is completely true. It's amazing, really.
It was
I think that never happened before.
No, I can't remember dry Grand Tour.
No, amazing. Right then, next one, we've got this from Simon Geschke, GCN's favourite bearded rider and a good mate of yours, Matt.
Like a German on vacation. Always in style.
I sincerely apologise to all people I FaceTimed or tried to FaceTime at 6 a.m. this morning. Post-Giro, gin and tonics made me do it.
I particularly liked the reply though from Kuhn de Court, as you can see here. He said, "I do wonder though why you called my wife and not me. Congratulations though buddy, well-deserved victory for you all."
Yeah, he was definitely having a good night that night, I can testify.
Yeah.
And last but very much not least, we've got this one from Tom Dumoulin, who just put, "What just happened?" And that wasn't in reply to Simon Geschke's tweets either. That
was it the morning after the Giro?
I think that was the night of the Giro, but before
the night. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So did he send another one after that? Like 2?
Don't know actually. Don didn't put the next one down if he did.
Deservedly so, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Comment of the week now, and this is the first one from Dave Pratt underneath e-bike versus road bike. The real time saver on the first run wasn't the e-bike, it was that Matt started clipped in. That alone saved 2 to 3 minutes.
Hashtag fact.
Yeah, hashtag true.
The fact was, I don't know whether you're looking closely, Dave, but Matt very nearly crashed into the flower pot as a result of starting
so excited
and receiving 500 extra watts from the e-bike.
Whoa!
Sketchy, wasn't it?
It was sketchy. It was great fun though.
It was flying, wasn't it? Right.
Absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Next up, this comment was underneath our Essential Workshop Tools video, and it comes from Edge of Sanity. Cracking name. 1 duct tape, 2 cable ties, 3 hammer, 4 hacksaw, and number 5 steel toe cap boots. That's pretty much all I've got. in my
If I had to
workshop,
guess
actually.
what he'd put as 6, I'd put drill.
Yeah. Or maybe like a buzz saw or something a bit more heavy
An
duty.
oily rag, they'd be done.
Actually, yeah, good point, actually.
Oily
We
rag,
haven't got
that's
for
what
the
you
oily
need.
rag yet. Right, and then the last one was undo how to get started on a climb. This was sent in by WBSKPR, and they asked, what are your tips for starting on the flat when leaving the pub? Yeah, no tips there. Actually, it's probably one for you to do, Lloydie.
Yeah.
Well, I don't ever drink and ride.
No, good point. Anyway, make sure you keep letting us know your comments in the comment section down below, because we enjoy reading them very much.
We do.
And we will pick out some of the belters for next week's show.
On the channel this week, on Wednesday, it's how to improve your balance, where I showcase some quite spectacular skills, in fact, in the opening scene.
So here's a few hints and tips to practice.
You right there, mate? Did that help?
Yeah, it's really, really helpful, that. So I think I'm getting there, mate.
You
Thanks.
are, yeah.
I
This
really
is brilliant
appreciate
effort.
it.
Brilliant effort.
On Thursday, nobody told me about this one. It's 5 ways to be more stylish on your bike. Why wasn't I
No,
asked?
actually none
Well,
of us were involved.
No, they had to get Tiffany Cromwell in.
Yeah,
to present
needed somebody that was actually qualified to present that video, apparently. That's what we were told.
Tiff is quite stylish, but still a bit
Anyway,
disappointed.
I guess we better watch it.
Yeah.
On Friday, as ever, it is Ask GCN Anything, and then Saturday's Pro Bike is the new aero bike called the Concept from Colnago, as used by Gazprom Rusvello at the recent Giro d'Italia.
Yeah, Sunday we've got another big versus video from the Dolomites. This time it's road versus off-road. Which is harder? That's right. Can we get bragging rights over GMBN, basically?
And
That's what it's all about.
I've never seen road more off than in this video.
No, stretch the limits, mate. Right, and then Monday, the maintenance video is how to straighten disc rotors. So that is an important one for any of you rocking discs these days.
And then on Tuesday,
From the top of the Montvernier climb, welcome to the GCN Show.
It's time now for Extreme Corner. This week, proving just how extreme cross-country mountain bikers can be as well. Here is Matthias Flickinger doing a little jump and then unfortunately crashing really badly. But he did get up and he was fine. Check this out. That looks really bad.
well, that I think is why cross-country riders shouldn't try and go extreme.
Do you know the worst thing about that, though, that video?
What's that?
He'd only just got up from crashing 50 yards earlier.
No,
Yeah.
poor lad. Had he done like a Tom Squeens? He was
Pretty
actually
much.
slightly concussed.
I think he
and
was a
just-
bit discombobulated.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go back to downhill, freestyle or jumping mountain bikers for next week's Extreme Corner, shall we? Right, a quick plug for the GCN shop,
Yeah,
which you
no,
can find at
sure.
shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. As you can see, we're all sporting some kind of track-based GCN logo designs this week, all made from completely organic material and with environmentally friendly ink as well.
Yeah, water-based ink, no less.
I'm loving these, to be fair. Right then, before leaving the GCN show, do make sure you subscribe to the channel. First of all, it's completely free. Just click on the globe. And then if you're after some more content, well, why not click just over there for e-bike versus road bike.
Or, yeah, it is a cracker, isn't it? I mean, I had a lot of fun doing that. Or click just down here where I took a look at Tom Dumoulin's joint TCR.